Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of correlation and regression, in which we will be considering the market developments so far, which are likely to help us in figuring out the relative strength and weaknesses of the forex market currencies against the dollar. We will be considering the major currencies including the Euro USD, AUD USD, GBP USD, and other major currencies, and how they are trading against the dollar to see what is the trend, whether it is bearish or bullish, and if it is a trending market in any direction, then we will also be considering the relative aspect. If the, for example, say euro is stronger or weaker compared to the GBP. And once we are done with the developments in the forex segment, we will also be taking a look on the equity side, particularly for the United States equity indices, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, S&P 500, and Nasdaq. So let us now head to the JForex 4, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. This is the AUD USD chart with the each candle period defined at 5-minute time frame. And to get the perspective of volatility as well as the price trajectory, I have added this Donchian channel with a calculation period of 24 and 48 to get the price range over last 2 hours and 4 hours respectively. To also look at the momentum, I have this SMA 24 and SMA 12 in place to look at the average price prevalent over last 1 hour and 2 hours respectively. Now, if we want to decide on which side the momentum is for the AUD USD, of course, we will have to look at its chart both from the short term, the immediate term, as well as from the longer term perspective. Now, here, if we consider the development, particularly after the release of non-farm payroll data for the United States, the AUD USD's moves have been swift and one-sided. It has continued to rise, and in today's session, there is not much of a movement. If we go back in time to the Asian trading session, the opening was there closer to 0.667. After that, it has also climbed almost 1 percentage point from those levels slowly and steadily. And since then, it has gone into sideways price trajectory. So the underlying momentum is quite bullish. And here, I think in today's session, we are not really likely to see any further big moves from the current levels. It is more likely to consolidate with the buyers remaining bullish for at least a couple of sessions. You can even say this week we are likely to see these major currencies continuing to trade with the bullish momentum. For AUD, we can adopt a strategy like buy on dips, and that will be the case with most other major currencies trading against the dollar. So you can expect the dollar to remain on the weaker side, and we will do well to keep figuring out the optimum entry and exit points. And for that, we can always rely on the relative strength and the weaknesses and see if it is better to trade in, say, for example, AUD, or if it is better to go for other currency like euro or GBP for that matter. So we will have to look at this strength in a relative term so that we are able to optimize the trades on both sides of the spectrum. So if we look at the price trajectory of the AUD USD in today's session, it has mostly traded with bullish bias. So if we go back in time, as I said, it started the day closer to 0.687. From there onwards, it has climbed 1 percentage point. Now from these highs, it has gone sideways, but still the underlying momentum is quite bullish, and we had seen this immediate swing low, 4-hourly low coming in at 12:55 GMT, and then it reversed course and it has now continued to climb. Let's compare this timeline of the swing low and swing high with other major currencies so we get a perspective on which one is the strong and which one is the weaker. So for euro, the low came in early compared to the AUD, and after that this high also seems to have come in early, and even in terms of the magnitude the increase for the euro is looking substantial. So taking this 2 points, the timeline of the rise as well as the magnitude of rise, you can say that in today's session euro usd is on the firmer ground compared to the AUD. So even if we have to take simply a intraday perspective, we will do well to keep focus on Euro USD for buy on dips trade compared to the AUD, which is also bullish but relatively less so. So it is always a better idea to go for the strongest of the instrument instead of going for a weaker one, even though the trajectory is similar. But before we can finally settle on euro usd, we have other major currency crosses to cover, and only after that we will be in a position to see if euro usd is the best choice or if we have better choices elsewhere. So let's start doing the relative analysis to get the correlation right. For GBP, the low came in at 13 GMT, which is almost similar to the AUD, and this swing high for hourly high at 1525 GMT. So it is trading more like AUD and less like euro. Euro is apparently on the much firmer ground, and the GBP seems to be trading relatively weaker even compared to the AUD, as it is showing more lag. So these two things also tell us that GBP is the least bullish one of all the three currencies we have seen so far. All the major currencies are bullish against the dollar, so we have to use this phrase, which one is the most bullish and which one is the least bullish. So far we have seen three currencies, and euro usd is apparently the most bullish against the dollar, and GBP being the laggard of these three, with AUD USD falling in between. Now let's consider the price trajectory for the NZD USD. NZD USD has also continued to gain ground, and it is also looking quite firmer for the day. So far so good. The trajectory is almost similar to what we saw for other major currencies. The swing low came in at 1250 GMT. After that, it has also climbed with similar momentum of what we are seeing in AUD. So the Asia Pacific peers are trading with almost similar price formation. Let's see what's the story for AUD, as this correction seems to be dipping. So it is more deeper for the NZD compared to the AUD. So the timeline of this decline, swing low and swing high, is same for AUD and NZD, but magnitude of rise and then this decline is pushing the NZD on the weaker footing compared to the AUD. So keeping these factors in mind, we still have to give more weightage to the AUD for any trade to be taken on the buy side, with euro being the best choice, AUD USD following suit, and then comes the NZD and the GBP. GBP is apparently placed much better compared to the NZD. Now let's consider USD CAD, USD CHF, and USD JPY. So we will have to invert the scales, and once we have done it, we can get it in a comparable position relatively easily. So for USD CAD, the CAD was quite firm against the dollar throughout the day, but for last half an hour, I think it has now seemingly changed course, and it has risen around 30 to 40 pips from these low levels. Let's consider the hourly charting formation. So hourly formation is also equally bullish, as is the case with most other currency trading against the dollar. So the USD CAD is also following similar trajectory, with CAD being firmly bullish, but now it is apparently trading softer, and with that USD CAD has started to climb upwards. And looking at this current price formation, the CAD seems to be on the weaker side of all the major currencies which we have seen so far. So you will have to give the CAD benefit of doubt, and it will be better to avoid going for any long trade in the CAD. It is better to keep an eye on possible reversal, with much better options emerging in currencies like euro, or even for that matter AUD. If you want to go for the continuation trade, then these are the best choices. But the CAD, looking at this current price formation, seems to be the best choice in case we see turnaround of sort, maybe after due consolidation, if things start to turn and USD starts to gain some ground. In that scenario, the USD CAD should be your first choice, as it is looking the least bullish one against the dollar. Let's see the USD CHF. USD CHF is trading in a similar manner of its European peers, the Euro and GBP. So here for CHF, the swing high, 4-hourly swing high, had come in pretty early. After that, it has continued to make these lower lows and lower highs. And even if we look at the magnitude of this decline, it is quite substantial. So keeping these factors in mind, I think CHF is one of the most bullish currency against the dollar in today's session, and even at the moment it is trading quite firmly. So you can go for euro or CHF interchangeably whenever you feel that buy on dips trade can be taken. Euro USD offers less, spread is less and the liquidity is more, so that makes euro a favorable instrument to trade with compared to the USD CHF. But the price formation is almost similar, with not much of a difference. So on that count, CHF can also be considered, which is looking equally strong, if not more so. Let's consider USD JPY. USD JPY was climbing earlier in the day, but then it also reversed course and it has now started dipping. Let's consider its hourly chart formation. USD JPY is likely to again decline towards the immediate swing low, so that possibility is quite strong. And as is the case with most other currencies, we will have to keep looking for opportunities to go long in these currencies against dollar. So the USD JPY can also be shorted, with the target coming in towards 131 in coming hours, or you can even say coming sessions. So we have seen these major currencies trading against the dollar, with the euro being the most bullish and the CAD being the least bullish of all the major currencies which we have seen so far. So accordingly, you can strategize your trading entry and exit. So whenever you get due opportunities to go for a buy on dip strategy, the euro USD can be utilized. And when you feel that consolidation is now likely to help dollar gain some ground, in that case USD CAD can be the currency instrument to trade with you betting on the depreciation of the CAD in coming hours. So that possibility can also be exploited. Let's now turn our gaze to the equity segment. So story is also similar for most of the equity indices, which gained substantially after the non-farm payroll release. And here we have the Dow Jones almost trading flat, with not much of a movement in today's European trading session. Of course, the trajectory is firmly bullish, so the same principle will have to be applied in the equity indices for the US. we will have to continue to trade with bullish bias, but of course cautiously, given the fact that we have had already seen these substantial gains, and that increases the risk while reducing our profitability. So let's take a brief look on which equity index of these three is the most bullish and which one is the least bullish. For S&P 500, the gains from the lower side have been closer to 2.5 percentage point. For Nasdaq, let's consider Nasdaq has gained more than 300%, 3 percentage point, whereas the Dow has gained more than 2 percentage point. Let's see the price formation now. The immediate swing high came in at 11:40 GMT. After that, it has continued to make newer highs. For S&P 500, it came in little early. And Nasdaq, the price trajectory is similar. But since there is more volatility in the Nasdaq, I would prefer to continue to trade with Nasdaq in comparison to the Dow Jones Industrial Average or the S&P 500. And here the price trajectory of S&P 500 and the Nasdaq is almost identical, with just little less momentum being observed in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So all these three equity indices are bullish. It's only a matter of degrees, and there is not much of a difference. Just the price range is higher, and also it is looking much little more stronger. So I would prefer to trade with the Nasdaq, but as I said, the trajectory is similar for almost all these three equity indices for the United States. So that's my assessment. Looking at the current price formation, you can be cautiously bullish in these equity indices with the already significant move having taken place. It limits our gains on the upper side, but it is not also a good idea to go short at the current levels. Rather than that, we will have to allow it more time. Till then, the buy on dip strategy can be applied wherever the opportunities look optimum enough, with Nasdaq being the leader of the pack and Dow Jones following the other two equity indices. So that's my assessment of the current price formation, and if any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write to me in the feedback, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. So thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous time ahead, a profitable day ahead. See you tomorrow.